Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next lesson in the intermediate course. And we're going to look at modal verbs. We are going to look at grammar with can, could, and be able to. These are things you can do or could do in the past. And we're going to start with a conversation. I'm going to lead this or sort of begin it, and then you can play along. Talk about skills that you could do in the past and that you can do, and then things you can't do. So I'm going to actually begin this to provide you a model on how to proceed with this. So two from the list below. So here's this list below, two of these skills that you can't do. Let's see. Oh, well, okay. I have only very basic skills in knitting and sewing. So these here, let's just get the pronunciation right. Knitting and sewing. This is pronounced sew, not sue, sew. By the way, sue is spelled this way. Sue is when you take someone to court. That is sue. So is the same as sew. Can you imagine that? Very difficult. So sewing and so what? It's the same pronunciation, very different spelling. So I'm not great at that. I suppose that would be something that I can't do very well. Playing tennis. Oh, that's something I don't do very well. I'm a very poor tennis player. I remember I took lessons for 1 month as a boy, and I was so bad that we quit. Now, something I could do when I was 10. So I couldn't play tennis when I was 10. I can't really sew well now. What's something I could do younger? I could play musical instruments. I was a musician and played professionally for a number of years. And so I know a number, and I was actually a music teacher, so I know some different instruments. I can do those. I can play one now, but I could play many earlier. Most of these I can do. I am very bad at skiing. So that's another one. So talk about things you can do and things you can't do, or things you could do, or things that you couldn't do. And practice using can, could, and couldn't. Now, for some of you, this is pretty basic. So you can move on, look at the photos and listen. I like the listening exercises. We need to do a lot of that because when we understand what people say, we're more confident when we speak. Let's go to 139. Here are it's a grammar exercise. You're going to do A and B right here. This is your homework. I'm going to read these to you. And again, for some of you, these exercises, these sentences are pretty simple, but I want you to practice your pronunciation. So you can repeat after me, focusing on the words that are most difficult. I can speak 3 languages fluently. Fluently. Jenny can't come tonight. She's ill. She's ill. Do you hear how they merge together? She's ill. Our daughter could play the violin when she was 3. They couldn't wait because they were in a hurry. All right. Now, can is a modal verb. So if you hear modal verb, now you know can is one of those. Can, could, should, would, may, might, must, and ought are modal verbs. You'll learn or discuss all of these in time. All right, it only has a present form and a past or conditional. So can and could. No future. There's no future with can. You can express the future with can. So for example, she can't come tonight is sort of present and future. In the future, she will not be able to. So in fact, we express can in the future with will be able to, but we'll look at that in just a minute. So can here sort of represents a future sense. For all other tenses and forms, we use be able to. So this verb has more flexibility. Can and could don't, except in the negative, can't and couldn't. That's the only flexibility. So Luke has been able to swim since he was 3. Has been able is a perfect form, a present perfect form. I'd like to be able. I love being able. So to be able is an infinitive form. Being able to is more of a passive form, I suppose, or in sort of a gerund form, being able to. I love being able to. And then the future. You'll be able to. You will be able to. And that's a future form. So you can express in different forms with be able to, or with able to, or able. With present and past and conditional only, you can express these with can and could. All right. We sometimes use be able to. I'm reading here. We sometimes use be able to in the present and past instead of can and could if we want to be more formal. So here we go. Unfortunately, I'm able to accept your invitation. Actually, that's a bit odd. Unfortunately, I'm unable is more common. I'm unable to accept. You're right. There, the book's right. This is more formal. If I said, I can't accept your invitation, it's less formal. I'm unable to accept is more formal. It sounds very nice. Even though you're saying, no, my colleagues weren't able to come to yesterday's meetings, as opposed to my colleagues couldn't come. They mean the same. The book suggests weren't able to come is slightly more formal, perhaps, but definitely in the present form, I agree. It is more formal. All right. Now we're going to look at you're going to do a lot of pronunciation. And the reason we're doing pronunciation is because I'm getting to know your class a bit. And a lot of you speak well, but you need to improve your pronunciation. Not because I don't like your accent, but because I want to be able to understand infinitive form all of your thoughts. And sometimes a poor accent can make understanding difficult. So I want you to take pronunciation practice seriously, especially in the areas you most need it. If the book is covering an area of pronunciation that you're good at, you can skip through it. You don't have to go through the exercises. Focus on your weakest points. All right. So here, you're going to listen to the 4 sentences, write the stressed words in the pink, the stress in the sentences. All right. So you're going to just follow the directions there for those 4, and you're going to do some listening. Listening here. Read the text. Do you believe this or this? So you're going to, then we've got listening below, but I'm actually going to read this just for practice. So I'm going to read this part here for you. Learn a new skill in 20 hours. Now that is a remarkable claim. It was Malcolm Gladwell, the popular writer on modern psychology, who popularized the idea that it takes 10,000 hours of practice to really master a new skill, such as playing the piano. But in this nonstop world, that means this fast-paced world, in this nonstop world, who has that kind of time? In his book, The First 20 Hours, Josh Kaufman tells you how to learn any new skill really quickly. By completing just 20 hours of focused practice, you'll be able to go from knowing absolutely nothing. Absolutely is this sort of, it underscores the fact you know nothing. Absolutely nothing. 0, to performing well. But is it really possible? Matt Rudd, a Sunday Times journalist, decided to give it a try. So here's what Matt did. Matt, this is really interesting. Matt tries to learn to play the trumpet in 20 hours. Now you're going to hear Matt, and you're going to hear him talk about his experiences here. It's going to be very interesting. And I'll just read here. Matt Rudd learns the trumpet. I haven't played a musical instrument for years. 5 years ago, I got a trumpet for my birthday and I tried to learn it, but I gave up. I quit after 7 minutes and it ended up in the garage. So here I am, a beginner again. Now, Matt's going to try to develop his skills in 20 hours. Now, what do you think? Is it possible to learn a skill in 20 hours? Have you tried it? There are other techniques as well. I'm going to talk about it. There are a few other sort of similar philosophies. We'll talk about this during maybe the speaking club or during a live, but should be very interesting. But what are your thoughts? Do you think Matt can do it? What level can he get in 20 hours? You know, we can apply it to English or any skill, trumpet, English, another foreign language. How much can you learn in 20 hours? Well, let's see about Matt, and you're going to listen to that and find out. So here we have vocabulary. The difference between ED and ING, adjectives. Annoyed and annoying. Now, this can be a little bit tricky, so let's try to explain this. So I am annoyed. I'm annoyed at something. So I feel annoyed. ED. I'm the person who feels annoyed, but that action is annoying to me. So the sound is annoying. The chatter is annoying. Something is annoying. Even a person can be annoying if they're talking loud. But I am annoyed. Annoyed is the adjective. All right, the book explains it in a slightly different way. You can look at that, and hopefully between the two, you can understand. But if not, you're gonna get a lot of practice. This is really good practice. I want you to take this exercise very seriously because this is really critical for advancing your level of English. A lot of intermediate or around intermediate level confuse these two. They say, I'm annoying instead of I'm annoyed. So we want to make sure I'm boring instead of I'm bored. So you want to make sure and get these right. Boring and bored are the most commonly confused ones. I hear new people say, I'm boring. And what they want to say is, I'm bored. I'm not having fun. The concert is boring. I'm bored. So you have to know this distinction, and you're going to get a lot of practice in B here. And again, we have an audio file that's going to help you. And just so you know, just as a reminder, all of the answers are at the back. So you can check your answers to make sure you're on the right path or track. All right, now I want to encourage you, if you have time, some of you don't have time, but if you do have time, I want to encourage you to read this. Does anyone have any good tips for practicing English outside the classroom? These are some interesting tips. Most of these you know, and most of these you've already used. And of course, we have a course that is, I think, one of the most common ways to practice English outside of the school classroom. But if this is class, how can you practice outside of it? Well, I've provided you with a speaking club on Wednesdays. I'm trying to encourage you as speaking partners, but they'll tell you about a few other tricks that I think are really worth looking at. So why don't you take a look at these, and we'll talk about which of these you've tried in the past or that you're currently trying to improve your English. All of these I think are really interesting. And then we'll add a few to the list. You have a lot to do this week for homework. So I want to wish you well, study hard. And I want to remind you over and over again, enjoy the process. Don't get frustrated. Oh, I have to finish the homework. Oh, I have to finish. No, enjoy each moment. Each mistake is an opportunity to learn, and improve your English. That's how I approach languages. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so now I'm a little bit better than before. So don't count the mistakes, count the progress that each mistake allows you to make. I think that's the best way to look at it, and you will keep a cheerful disposition. You'll be happy and motivated, because that is what we need to learn fastest, is motivation. Good luck, happy studying, and see you soon.